This is video number 2. It's the rest of the practice test for the third unit, which is from chapter 4a. We have that the sign is negative, and it's from 3 pi over 2 to 2 pi. 3 pi over 2 to 2 pi is this fourth quadrant here, and sign is indeed negative. The y-coordinate's negative here. What is the exact value of the tangent of the opposite of theta? Okay, well, if theta is here, the opposite of theta is up here, and tangent up here is positive. So all that I needed to do was figure out using this what the sign would be. It's going to be positive. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to find the cosine, and I'll use the cosine to find the tangent, because tangent equals sine over cosine. And I have the sine, but I don't have the cosine. So I'm going to use again my Pythagorean identity theorem. Cosine squared of theta plus negative 3 over 13 squared equals 1. So I have cosine squared of theta plus 9 over 169 equals 169 over 169. Subtract 9 over 169 from both sides, and I get that cosine squared of theta equals 160 over 169. Take the square root. I don't need to worry about positives and negatives, because I already know that my final answer for tangent should be positive. So cosine of theta, but just so you know, it is in this quadrant, so cosine would be positive anyways. Square root of 160 I've got to think about over 13. This can be reduced. I recognize right away that 160 has the perfect square. It can be divided by 100. It can also be divided by 4. So I need to find the largest perfect square in it, which would be, let's see, I could reduce, I'm going to do the reducing of 160 over here. Oh, not divided by 100. I meant divided by 10. So it's 16 times 10, which is 4 square root of 10. So the cosine of theta is 4 square root of 10 over 13. That is not my answer, though, because I want to find the tangent. I need to come up here and say that tangent is sine 3 over 13. I already know my final answer should be positive because I want the tangent of the opposite theta, divided by 4 square root of 10 over 13, which is 3 over 13 times the reciprocal. 13's cancel, and I'm left with 3 over 4 square root of 10. Can't write that though as my final answer because I need to get rid of that radical in the denominator. And I end up with 3 square root of 10 on the top and 4 times 10 on the bottom, because square root of 10 times square root of 10 is 10. So 3 square roots of 10 divided by 40. That's my final answer for the tangent of the opposite of theta. And I know it's positive because I figured that out up here, so I didn't have to worry about that later on. Right. Number 20. The cosine of theta is 0.38. So where's cosine? Cosine is my x-coordinate. X-coordinates are positive over here. Opposite of theta means up and down. So this is going to move down, this is going to move up. So I stayed on the right side, so cosine stays at positive 0.38. Number 21, cosine is positive and it's in the first quadrant. 0 to pi over 2 is right from here to here. This means move side to side because it means supplementary. They add up to 180. And when I move over here, my cosine becomes negative. So it's negative 0.987. Just two more questions. Which letter best represents the value of the cosine of negative 5 pi over 3? So that's 1 2/3 pi. Well, if I went in the positive direction, 1 2/3. If I go the opposite direction, I go 1 2/3, I guess. That it's going to be over here in this quadrant. Am I saying that correctly? 1 2/3. Yes, okay. So going the other way, it's going to be 1 2/3 of a pi. Oh, 2/3 of a pi is more than half of a pi. I'm so sorry. 1 2/3 is 1 2/3 would be right here. This is 1 1/2. 2/3 is a little farther. So if I go the opposite direction, remember you just move above and below, or you can think of it as 1 1/2 plus a little more. This is where 2/3 would be, negative 1 2/3. Cosine is the x coordinate, so it's A. Again, I just want to review. 1 1/2 pi. 2/3 is a little more than a half. So if I go the opposite direction, because it's negative, 1 1/2 and a little more. That's 2/3. Which letter best represents the value of 7 pi over 6? So 1 1/6. And sine is the y coordinate. So it's H. So we'll mark here x coordinate for cosine, y coordinate for sine.